think the Archmage even has brochures like these. No posters or town criers or plays. Either he lacks the gold or he doesn't want to conduct his election campaign in this manner. I don't know exactly why the council leader left the brochures lying here. It was agreed that children can't vote. First they wanted to base eligibility to vote on size, which of course led to resistance among us gnomes and the dwarves. And then they said weight should be decisive. The more you weigh, the more weighty your vote, but then the trolls and ogres would have been overrepresented. In the end, they agreed on a minimum age. However, there are still arguments because rats, undead children, and other minorities can never vote. This is the desk that Chantal, the daughter of the council leader, and little Timmy share. Hard to imagine two students being any more different. Chantal is only here because of its tradition in her family, and I don't think she really cares about magic or has any real talent for it. Timmy, though, well, he is eager to learn and was so excited the last few days. It's for students like him that we have to get this school back up and running. A pencil case, a ruler, nothing special. This is the desk that Chantal, the daughter of the... Hard to imagine two students. Timmy, though. Oh, Chantal forgot her book. Seems to be a book of fairy tales, but one of the tackier kinds. My dad used to read me fairy tales when I was a kid. The bloodthirstiest, most cruel, creepy, proper fairy tales. I'll just leave it there. Chantal can take it tomorrow. I don't know who that boy was. He was a right pain in the ass. However, he seemed to understand a great deal about magic, and if I managed to teach him some manners, he could be an excellent student. Generations of students have left their mark, especially in the form of little pictures and sayings carved into wood. Here's a particularly long one. For all drifters and troublemakers, condemned to write the same sentence on the board over and over again, no problem. Cast the automation spell on the piece of chalk and it does it all the work for you. Bartholomew. Hey, aye, that's cheating. Pretty clever though. The spell carved into wood down there, I'll just write it down. Oh, most of the plants have dried up. No one looked after them. Only this plant must have found a water source somewhere. Perhaps one of the windows has a leak. It gives you hope to know that something beautiful and peaceful has survived in this gloomy building. Ah! Ugh! Maybe it was always a carnivorous plant. But then again, perhaps it adapted to its new environment to survive. Don't worry, little plant. From now on, I'll take care of you. You won't have to go hungry anymore. Ugh, that's disgusting. Oh, that smells like rotten eggs. Or like Grandad whenever he's eating bean soup. When the school disappeared 20 years ago, obviously no one looked after the animals. Expected consequences, really. When the school disappeared 20... I don't need the whole skeleton, but a sharp-pointed bone like this might just prove useful. It appears they wanted to replicate the fish's natural habitat as exactly as possible, including miniature treasure chests, just like the ones frequently found in the sea. Hey, some old coins. Maybe one of my predecessors had a vicious fish guard his retirement fund. The last time a fire burned in this was before the school disappeared 20 years ago. And even if I could, I shouldn't start a fire in it anyway. The flue was broken, and the smoke would fill the entire classroom. A little ash, but also some unburned waste. Here's a sheet of paper. It's a sheet from a book. It's folded in the middle and printed on both sides. That equals 4 pages. It wasn't torn out. It looks more like the glue weakened and the sheet fell out. I'll just take it with me. The mixing of potions is an important part of magic. It's a bit like cooking, except a stew doesn't kill you if you add the wrong ingredient. Or if it's stirred wrong. No? With a little luck, I can get through the day without causing an explosion. Unusual. This device looks more like ordinary engineering than it does magic. Most magical devices have lots of golden parts, elaborate decorations, and bells and whistles, just the way the mages like them. This one could easily come from a gnome workshop. What does it say? The apparatus that corrupted student Allardyce. A warning to those who do not want to accept the limits of magic. It seems a student by the name of Allardyce made this apparatus and it brought him grief. I don't know why. Compared to the things lying around back home in Gnome Hole, this apparatus doesn't look particularly dangerous. What does it say? The apparatus that corrupted student Allardyce. A warning to the... Ooh, crazy drawings and symbols. That must be really high magic. Only the wisest mages can understand all that. It didn't let me down this time, though. It worked even better than I expected. It was like it wanted to conjure. I could hardly keep it under control. Teachers are traditionally paid in apples. I got this one myself, because I didn't want to spend my first day without an apple. I wanted to ask the Archmage whether good teachers can expect any other form of payment than apples. But when he showed me the beautiful contract with the seal and all that, it just didn't seem to be the right time to talk about gold. This book looks very old and important. Half the class had runny noses, most were recaptured. This is the roll book where the teacher writes down any unusual events. Maybe I can find something in the roll book about this Allardyce mentioned in the note on the apparatus. Here. Despite repeated warnings, young Allardyce continued his experiments on his fire maker. To my great regret, I must say that the device works. He demonstrated it to the staff. We had to have him committed to the asylum in Arkhamstone because of his delusions and insubordination. A wizard who invents a fire maker and then committed to an insane asylum by other wizards. I guess they didn't understand his new kind of magic back in their time, or they figured their monopoly was in danger. For a long time, wizards were the only ones allowed to make fire. Maybe I'll find another entry on Allardyce. Yes, here, bit earlier. Today I made a disturbing discovery. Young Allardyce, very gifted but also nonconformist, was making drawings of an apparatus. This apparatus could start a fire without magic. Of course, I took the paper away from him and showed it to the headmaster. He ordered 2 weeks of detention in the dungeon and added the drawing to the offender's file. talented mage invents a fire maker and is locked up for it. The machine remains on display as a warning. Pretty steep, but it fits with the stories about mages in earlier times. They were the only ones allowed to start fires. It was against the law for normal people. If the fire in a house went out, they had to call a mage, and of course, he charged for his work. They used to say, the faster the coin falls through the slot, the faster the wand makes the stove grow hot. Nowadays, everyone makes their own fire. Young Allardyce's fire-making plans could still be in his file. Someone should send him to his family and apologise. The little fellas look like they've got nothing but mischief in mind. I hope they don't get into too much trouble. They're ugly, but I summoned them. Therefore, there is a special bond between us. I suspect that some sort of strange magical creatures were kept in the cages. Students, for example. Introduction to magic, sheep breeding and care, statistics. That seems to be some kind of timetable. Well, as long as I'm the only teacher, most of these subjects won't get taught. This has to be the oldest shoe I've ever seen. It's so old it's even lost its ability to stink. That's strange. There's paper in the bottom of the shoe. Oh, maybe the shoe has a hole and the paper is supposed to protect the wearer from getting wet feet. Another book page. Or more precisely, another folded sheet of paper upon which 4 pages have been printed. When I look at the page numbers on the first sheet and on this sheet, it seems there are at least 5 sheets missing. Master Marcus told me everything I need to know. Hold your head high, inspire your students, and don't let things get you down. I just wish I wasn't entirely on my own. Whoever wants to be rich and successful should trust the rich and successful. We know how it's done. Elect Sybil Van Buren. Master Marcus's number won't help me anymore. He's probably already on his way to his live role-playing game. I wonder if Friedlin still likes pet food. I should buy a new package and see. The spell worked excellently. Well, even if the fairies do look a bit strange. I think I've summoned enough of them for now, though. Why work when you can do magic? The automation spell. That's a small bone from the fish in a glass jar. It's very sharp and has a kind of a hook at the end. That's a small bone from the fish It's very sharp and has a kind of a hook at the end. A few old coins. They must have been underwater for a long time. You can hardly see the detail. Where there are 2 pages to be found, there are sure to be even more. Based on the page numbers, I would say that there must be at least 5 more sheets. Sometimes my wand works perfectly and sometimes less so. I don't quite have the hang of it yet. Archmage! Remy!
If it isn't our newest professor. How was your first class, Wilbur?
Great! I conjured up a few cobbles and the students loved it.
Ah, well done. That's the right thing to do. You've already pretty much won the battle, Wilbur. Once they want to learn, they will.
What brings you to the school?
I wanted to pay Horatius Bloch, the new headmaster, a first visit and see how the school's doing.
That's very nice of you. But don't you have more important things to do?
Well, it's my old school. I once walked these halls as a child myself.
What the Archmage doesn't want to tell you is that something is wrong here. For a few days he has sensed the presence of something evil.
What do you mean you sense something evil?
Everything we do and think leaves a trace. You know how you sometimes shudder when you enter a place where great evil has been done? Dark magic leaves a particularly strong trace, like a bad smell.
And it smells like dark magic around here?
I first felt it a few days ago. First in the lower town, then in the upper town. And now here at the school.
Where did it come from? I mean, do you know who's responsible?
I don't. The trace dissipates. There is too much wild magic in the air here at the school.
We must keep our eyes open at all times. Good detective work will serve us better in this case than some hocus pocus.
So what's he like, the new headmaster?
He's no mage, that's for certain.
He is an agent of the council leader.
First and foremost, he is a reliable official with principles, Remy. The council leader of the merchants did appoint him, and he may advocate her policies. Yet I do not believe he will conspire against us. He is stern, but upright.
Did you see the way he looked at me? Like I was vermin. No, I tell you. The council leader has hired him for one reason and one reason only. He is supposed to make life difficult for our Wilbur here.
Am I being set up to fail so they can put the blame on you, Archmage?
Ah, if that's their plan, then they have already lost.
How's the campaign coming along? I hope we're winning.
We're still in the lead.
But our margin is shrinking. Van Buren's bigwig cronies are throwing tons of gold into her election campaign.
How are things in the town? Have things calmed down?
Not really. The barricades are getting higher and the camp is getting larger.
People are getting impatient, and who could blame them? The war is over, yet everyone is doing worse and worse.
But you're doing your best, Archmage.
It takes time, Wilbur. The deeper the wounds, the longer they need to heal. And nothing causes deeper wounds than war.
We must deliver results. Most still trust Alistair, but the mood could swing. Then we would not only lose the election, we would have a riot on our hands.
The council chairman was here. She picked up her daughter from my class.
Ah, terrible person.
She has great influence, and she has friends in high places.
She could also use her influence to do good, too. So why is she trying to bring you down?
She believes that that would be a good thing, Wilbur. Almost no one wants to do evil. There are just very different views on what is evil and what is good.
I think I'll go see the headmaster. Goodbye, Archmage. Bye, Remy.
Goodbye, Wilbur. Don't let them intimidate you.
I'll do my best, and I won't give up.
I know.
You go on ahead, I'll be along in a minute. I want to talk to you in private, Wilbur. There are problems.
I hear Alistair's finally appointed you head of the Secret Service. From King of Thieves to high public office, eh?
Absolutely. Made quite a stir. It is the first time a rat has ever officially held an official government position. More than a few are of the opinion that with so many humans out of work, rats should not receive any jobs at all.
But nobody knows the city like you rats do. You really helped me out during my last adventure. You brought me potion ingredients and my fantastic magic wand.
And you saved Timmy and my entire clan from starvation. We'll never forget that, Wilbur Weathervane.
Timmy was a great help during my first lesson this morning.
Yes, He has done well. He absolutely wants to be a mage, just like his role model.
Just like the Archmage.
No, just like the hero of the Black Tower. For Timmy and many others, you are one of the heroes who ended the war.
Oh, me? That bit about dark magic all over the city does not sound good.
It's not just that. I think the Archmage's life is in danger.
What?
There was an attack, or there may have been one. Alistair and Sissy was a coincidence, but how often do heavy gargoyles just break off the Mage Tower when he is standing below them? I have assigned as many rats as I can spare to guard him, but you must also keep your eyes open, Wilbur.
Me?
Not only is something going on in the city, something is happening in the school too. We need information. We need to find out who is behind all this.
Then it's best I talk to the headmaster and ask him what I should do for him.
Whatever it is, just do it and act inconspicuous. But keep your eyes open for anything unusual while you do so. Well, things that look unusual even in an enchanted mage school.
Got it.
Why don't we meet down at the inn after work? Then we can exchange news.
Oh, I just hope Headmaster Block doesn't keep me busy all night.
You'll be fine. You defeated the Shadow Army, never forget that.
Yeah, just... back then I wasn't alone. What's this? Another book page. I'll take it with me. The school looked terrible when it reappeared. It took days before we could move freely on the ground floor. Don't even want to think about upstairs. I'd love to know what's on the upper floors, but it's far too dangerous. A magical building that's been left on its own for 2 decades has magic seeping through the walls. Could be lethal. The school's not in the best condition, but at least there's a public mage school in Seastone again. And now we will gradually reclaim the building, and I will help train a new generation of mages. We will tidy the classrooms, we will tidy the halls, we will tidy the stairwells. We will never surrender. When you summon creatures, I've read that you don't really create them, you just call them from somewhere else. I don't know where the kobolds came from, but they don't give me the impression they want to go back there soon. If I was as big as a troll, I could maybe reach it. If? When you summon creatures, I've read that you don't really create them, you just call them from somewhere else. I don't know where the We carried loads of rubbish out of the school. I guess we must have overseen those. I'll take them with me. Done is done. A lever. No idea what it does. That's it! I locked him out! The school's not in the best condition. The worst of the rubbish has been disposed of, but it will still take weeks before everything is clean and tidy. Wow, this isn't dust and dirt. It's like the funk of 40,000 years. It's rock hard. As if thousands of feet have trampled it into the floor. Even though no one's been here for 20 years. Or at least as far as I know. The school's not in the best condition. When I first arrived at the school a few days ago, I got a real fright when I first saw it. I mean, I knew about armor from books, but if you imagine that there's a real person inside, and has been for decades, ew. That's silly. Whoever's in the armor would have died a long time ago. Unless it's a ghost. Maybe the tapestry shows who the knights served. I don't know much about these things, unfortunately. We didn't have knights in the White Ridge Mountains. Probably they sank in the snow. The tapestry's in a miserable condition, like everything here. The colours are faded and... Hey, there's even a loose thread. The tapestry seems to be magic. At first the thread was very short, but now it's at least 4 paces long. I'll rip it off and take it with me. You can never have enough magic thread. Headmaster Block.
Ah, Professor Weathervane. There you are at last. I have some tasks for you.
You support the council leader in the election, right?
Indeed I do. We need to build up an extensive bureaucracy and boost the economy as quickly as possible. To me, the council leader appears to be a more logical choice than a mage. But do not worry, Weathervane. I don't blame you for your political naivete. As a school headmaster, I am neutral and always act according to school rules. And of course, political influence in schools is prohibited.
Tell that to Council Leader Van Buren.
What's that?
Oh, it's one of the campaign brochures the council leader put in my classroom.
I'll take care of it.
I look forward to us working together.
I'll be frank, Professor Weathervane. You have a mage diploma, but have not completed the tests required in order to work as a teacher. Attested credentials, a written application, nothing. You are only here on the Archmage's recommendation.
That's right. But there's currently a shortage of mages, and everyone must do their best.
Do their best is well and good, but it does not replace the formal and mandatory training for teachers of higher magic.
But the Archmage Alistair trusts me to teach here at the school.
Well, yes. Mages have a well-known penchant for chaos. I'm still trying to get an overview. The records management in this school defies description. Council Leader Van Buren wants to reorganize this educational institution and finally bring structure into the place, and she has my full support. Correct management of the teaching records must once again become the teaching staff's primary task. That is the only possible way to institute efficient control of learning and teaching methods.
I may have no formal training as a teacher, but I managed to thrill my students in the very first hour. I performed a spell, and you could really see the way they caught fire. Not literally, of course. It wasn't a fire spell or anything of that sort.
You performed a spell?
Yes. and now they want to learn to do the same. They want to learn.
According to my records, history of magic was on the syllabus.
Yes, but...
Professor Weathervane, crucial to our success in teaching is that we provide students with a stable, reliable framework and adhere to the curriculum exactly.
Yes, but the students...
Had you enjoyed proper training, you would have known that. I will note this failure in your file, and in the future you will stick to the curriculum, dear colleague.
You mentioned tasks earlier, Headmaster?
Yes, you have 2 tasks. As you know, the Archmage is coming early tomorrow to officially inaugurate the school. Important political and business personages will be attending, and as you can assumedly see, the school is not in a presentable condition. Council Leader Van Buren has hired a caretaker, but he cannot do the work alone. Your tasks are to help him clean the floor in the entrance hall and remove the cobwebs by tomorrow.
You want me to sweep the hall and get rid of the cobwebs? Is that really my job as a teacher?
Yes, indeed. A school is a team endeavor, so that means you have to do what I tell you.
If you told me to get rid of the flying kobolds, that I would have understood.
What did you say? Flying kobolds? If there are flying kobolds infesting the place, they must be got rid of too. See to it, Weathervane. Floor, cobwebs, flying kobolds, fix them.
Huh. And apart from cleaning, what else is there to do?
The inventory has revealed that a number of items of school property have gone missing. Among other things, the school library.
The whole library has gone missing.
That is correct. I asked the Archmage about the matter, and he confirmed to me that the room was there before. He does not know where it is now. He said something about its being in hiding, perhaps, or away traveling. I think it's unseemly. I want that room. We are a school, and we need a library.
Agreed. But where should I start looking?
That I cannot tell you. You are the mage.
You ask a lot. I don't know if I can get all this done by tomorrow morning.
By tomorrow morning, you have until 72 o'clock.
72 o'clock?
I have developed my own efficient metric system of measuring time. A day has 100 hours, consisting of 100 minutes, with 100 seconds each. Everything else is too confusing.
So, I don't even have until tomorrow morning.
For a properly qualified teacher, even the impossible poses no problem. Or should I note in your file that you do not feel up to the tasks assigned you?
No, I'll do it.
Very good. And then you can call it a day and prepare tomorrow's lessons.
One thing's clear. Headmaster Block wants me to fail, but I won't disappoint the Archmage. And secondly, I like this school. And a school library would be great for the students. And third, the work the headmaster has given me is the perfect opportunity to keep my eyes open for Remy. Is he working for the school or himself? Or is he only interested in gaining the council leader an advantage in the election? Is he working for the school? Allardyce, Albert. He seems to be an excellent student, but there are many entries about improper interjections and questions. And what's this? Axel A. Aronson. Axel cannot pay his school fees as he gives all his money to dodgy game developers. Beaverus Deepwood. Beaverus tried to turn wood into gold. In the end, he got mahogany, which in turn he sold for a lot of gold. Brian Blackstone. Brian became the youngest student ever to successfully cast the teleportation spell. He teleported himself 20 feet into the air and successfully fell to his death. Bernison, Troll. Bernison of High Wind Lake managed to collapse the south wing of the school by sneezing. Daniel A. Kershaw. Daniel conjured himself a magical forest and has not been seen since. D. Zaster. D died in a devastating explosion near a fireplace. His last essay on the development of my fart spell will be passed on to his surviving family. Elmar Frog. Elmar's father, the royal executioner, asked for permission to see his son's school records. Elmar is doing fine. Truly. Really fine lad. Looks as if a few pages were ripped out here. Fluffy Foffofoff. Fluffy transformed pure gold into a tasty piece of bread, so refuting the old saying that you cannot eat gold. Hiker Granger. Despite repeated warnings, which hiker is still using the school's Palantir to make long-distance calls? Frederica Sillybottom. Frederica Sillybottom has applied to the City Council for a change of name. She shall henceforth be known as Frederica Sillybottom. Ingemar Thunderflash. Despite repeated demands, Ingemar refuses to tell us his real last name. No one is called Thunderflash. Yoda Green Gnome. Magic strong in this one is, but weak his grammar be. Lennart the Academic. Lennart the Academic, genius of the buttons, mage of the keys, has broken more brains than hearts. Most recently his own brain, which earned him a private suite in the Arkenstein Asylum. Levin from the Hills. Gifted fire and water mage. Unfortunately, his talents cancel each other out, so is regarded as one of the most incompetent mages in his class. Marcel Makes-a-Lot. Marcel summons large hairy mammals and refuses to stop doing so. Marco Marco intentionally uses words like and because he believes it would be too embarrassing to write them down here. Mario Mushroom. Mario jumps on other people's heads, lights them on fire, and then calls the whole thing non-violent. Mark of the Southlands. Lord Mark of the Southlands yesterday set fire to several teachers and flooded the gym. Again. Movie Van Grove. Movie Van Grove transformed the school sheep into an ape, although the librarian expressly forbids apes in the school. Armadillo. Armadillo was expelled. It turned out that he was an armadillo in a penguin suit with a sign that said moo. Okay, now that's just weird. Pabba the Great. Pabba the Great, the only student of this academy whose width exceeds his height, today received his degree. He will be missed. Percy Smith. Percy detonated a stink bomb during run-in training. The students never ran faster. Student Smith received an award. Peter, Troll. The Hunters Guild has asked us to find a new caretaker. It seems the grumpy troll snoring and farting is scaring off the wildlife for miles around. René Beetle. René claims to have been in a sky full of diamonds with a certain Lucy. Visits from females are strictly prohibited in this school. So are mushrooms. Russell the Undead. Russell the Undead Mage is constantly losing skin. There have been numerous complaints from the cleaning staff. Sasha Shalislashlatch. This entry was only added to make life difficult for anyone who has to read it out loud. Sorry. Hey, it's not very nice. Serena Derpmancer. Serena discovered a completely new kind of magic. A second, completely unrelated incident then destroyed the entire laboratory. Speedster. Document not found. Did you mean speedster or speedstar? Theragor Biraton. Theragor lost today's archery contest after he fired his arrow in the wrong direction. We sent his family flowers. Toby Corner. Toby Corner. Wise remarks, deficient. Wise cracks, good.